On NTO Zoba Road over shooting of their colleague threatens to continue protest for 1 week. Femi Falana said federal government should have taken Twitter to court instead of a ban. On the foreign scene, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris under pressure to visit U.S.-Mexico border. I am Ifiemi Andrew. Angry bus drivers continue their protest today despite the bad weather conditions. The drivers are protesting over the killing of one of their drivers yesterday by an NSCDC official attached to the River State Task Force headed by Felix Nwadibe. The protesting drivers said the protest will continue for the next 1 week until the state government addresses their complaints and bring an end to the high-handedness of task force officials. The drivers also claimed that the driver who was killed was preparing for his traditional marriage next week. Some of them spoke to Nigeria Info.
We are angry because the government are not saving us. This thing is getting too much. They need to solve this status of a thing. They are killing people. That's why we are angry and still protesting on that delay. I've not had anything from the government. Throughout this week, no movement, going and come back. Anywhere we see. Whether not Taizio, whether not Bravo, we go offer any transport. Now we are fine. We don't need transport. Any transport person. We die. They will not need passport. We don't need everything. I mean everything. We don't need anything. The heaven is even angry. That's why the rain is falling. Then, personal marriage is just everything about the arrangement of the marriage has been set.
Correspondent Martha Okere reports that passengers are stranded at the protest as the protesting drivers stopped all commercial transport activities along NTO Zoba Road. Also, due to heavy rainfall, there is free flow of traffic. When contacted, the head of the River State Task Force, Felix Nwadibe, said he is still gathering facts about what led to the death of the bus driver and will give details later. The NSCDC is yet to comment on the incident. Imo State Governor Senator Hope Uzodinma has called on fellow leaders to join hands to bring an end to insecurity in the state. He made the appeal on Tuesday while addressing journalists after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in the State House.
Leaders must rise to ensure that they work hand in hand with government to ensure there is security in the country. Have you seen a situation where people wake up and take buses to a school and then load 200 students and they will be asking for ransom? What type of society is that? This is not the society we used to know about our country. We should all be worried. We should all get involved. In Imo State, as I speak to you, only me cannot restore security. Only me cannot guarantee security. I have to work with traditional rulers. I have to work with opinion leaders. I have to work with the youth leaders to be able to deploy a community kind of security program to be able to resist what is going on today.
Governor Uzodinma also called on former political office holders to speak out against the security crisis in the country.
It is not something for politics. If you are a former Senate President and you are a former Speaker or a former Deputy Senate President or a former Deputy Speaker and things like this are happening in the country and you are not able to speak out and we are not seeing you where you are engaged in a town hall meeting addressing the young men and women in your area on the need for a united Nigeria, then it is either overtly or covertly you have a question to answer.
The Imo State Governor, who said the APC-led federal government is performing well, accused politicians of trying to destabilize the government.
Part of the problem of this government is the deliberate attempt by some group of people to put down the government. Nobody is telling me that this government is being accused of having not performed, or salaries is not being paid, or that the roads are not being constructed, or the railway is not going on, or the various intervention funds that is supposed to empower our youth are not being given out. Nobody have come in concrete terms to accuse this government of one failure or the other. All we hear is that herdsmen and farmers are fighting. For that reason, 200 people are kidnapped. We must be realistic. Can anybody come and tell me 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons why this APC should not win the next election? Nobody have said that. I've not read either in any newspaper.
Senator Sani says the issue of insecurity in the country is worse than what is being reported. Speaking as a guest on a television program today, Mr. Sani said a failure in governance and information gathering by security agencies has led to the high level of crime in the country.
People are killed in Nigeria, not just in 1 or 2 or 3 or 5. They are killed in tens and sometimes in hundreds. When it comes to killing 5, 6, 7 people, it's almost done every hour basis. And as for kidnappings, many takes place now without even the authorities knowing about it. I didn't say the security were not achieving some successes, but the successes are very minimal. There's a failure of governance, failure of security, failure of intelligence, and has led us to a situation where nobody is safe. Just a month ago, the son of the area of Kontagora was killed when he went to the farm.
Away from that, some PDP lawmakers staged the walkout during plenary yesterday at the House of Representatives. This was after its caucus leader Kingsley Chinda was ruled out of order by Speaker of the House Femi Gbajabiamila. Mr. Chinda had prayed the House to urge the federal government to suspend the ban while the House conducts its investigation into the legality of the ban on Twitter. He spoke to newsmen outside the Assembly complex.
We communicate with our constituents through Twitter. We report back to those who elected us and sent us on errands to the House of Representatives through Twitter. Some of our constituents depend on Twitter for their livelihood. And there is nothing that Nigerians have committed as an offense for them to be punished by banning Twitter, which is their source of livelihood, which is a source of communication in our country today. If Mr. President or indeed the executive arm has issues with Twitter, a responsible government will sort out our issues with Twitter without the bandwagon effect on Nigerians, innocent Nigerians that have committed no crime.
The PDP caucus leader said members of the party will continue to tweet and called on the federal government to prosecute them and leave Nigerians alone.
We are calling on the Attorney General, leave Nigerians alone. Do not prosecute Nigerians. We are their representatives. We will tweet. Any day you want to prosecute us, tell us the court and the time. We will be there ourselves to surrender to your prosecution. Do not prosecute any Nigerian. Prosecute us, members of the PDP caucus in the House of Reps. If you want to jail us if we have committed an offense. We surrender ourselves on behalf of Nigerians.
On his part, human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, said the federal government should have taken Twitter to court instead of issuing a ban.
States were under a constitutional democracy. What ought to have been done was to have sued Twitter if the organization would not respond positively to the concerns of the government. On no ground can the action of the government be justified. Because here we are talking of 40 million subscribers. The president is not Nigeria.
Earlier, the House of Representatives said it will invite the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, to appear before the House committees investigating the suspension of Twitter operations in Nigeria. Meanwhile, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says Twitter is the social media platform of choice for the leader of the proscribed IPOB group, Nnamdi Kanu, to destabilize Nigeria. Mr. Mohammed said this during an interview with BBC News Africa. While defending the federal government's Twitter ban, he said the administration wouldn't allow any separatist sets the country on fire. Still ahead, price for a bag of onion doubles in River State. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
NGOs are pushing for the immediate establishment of special courts across Nigeria to address worrying cases of sexual violence. At a joint press conference held in Abuja, the NGOs raised alarm over the disturbing increase in sexual and gender-based violence across the country. Executive Director of Tech Her NG, Chioma Agwegbo, spoke on the spike in gender-based violence.
A year ago, we launched the State of Emergency GBV movement following the death of 22-year-old Vera Uwaila Umozua to advocate for urgent actions to prevent the scourge of sexual and gender-based violence and to respond to incidents sustainably, prioritizing health, justice, and redress for survivors. Too many women and girls have lost their lives to these heinous crimes perpetrated by criminals. Unfortunately, many more continue to die, with cases either totally ignored and justice delayed indefinitely.
Also speaking at the event, public interest lawyer Nana Nwachukwu and Buki Williams of EVA Nigeria insisted that SGBV cases must be prosecuted within a reasonable time frame without interference from interested parties.
Sexual harassment and physical violence are only part of the horrors Nigerian women are continually subjected to, including harmful traditional practices, psychological abuse, and acts of socioeconomic violence. According to the World Population Review, Nigeria is the 7th most dangerous country in the world for women to live in. The Nigeria Governance Forum has a responsibility to ensure that effective laws are passed in all the states. Also, there should be public disciplinary measures against officers of the Nigeria Police Force and state prosecutors who mishandle cases of gender-based violence.
In business, the price of a bag of onion has gone up by about 50% in Rivers State. This is after onion dealers in the north announced that they will stop supply to the southern part of Nigeria following attacks on their onion trucks in the southeast region. Our correspondent, who visited some major onion markets in Port Harcourt, reports that a bag of onion, which previously sold for between 10,000 to 11,000 naira, is now being sold for between 17,000 and 20,000 naira. Chairman, Gambia Onion Seller Association, Awanu Ibrahim, spoke on the matter.
As of yesterday, wanted to load, but the authorities there didn't let us to load. They said there is strike, so we are on standby. If there is any way the government can come into it, we have so many challenges. It is unfair for somebody to load a full trailer of onions. Hoodlums will attack them on their way and loot everything. It's very bad.
He also spoke on what will happen to the surplus onions in the north.
Immediately you leave northern part of the country, you will see roadblocks in every state. They extort money from the drivers. More than 200 to 300,000 is what they used to spend before coming down here. It's very bad. Government should look into the matter and resolve it. Because whatever they are doing, it will definitely bounce back to the less privileged. They will buy it at cost price.
On his part, Chairman of Arewa Consultative Forum Ibrahim Usman said a meeting would be held today with the Department of State Security DSS to find a solution to the matter.
Up to now, they are supplying, but the director of DSS has called the onions dealers in Rivers State, which we are hoping they will ask them about their complaint. If they lodge their complaint, it will be put on table to the governor of Rivers State, whereby Rivers State cannot be part of the victims of the shortage of supply of onions against their command from their national office. Even though you observe that onion is cost is as a result of acute shortage of the supply. Most of the traders, they are afraid to send their onions across Igbo land.
Our correspondent reports that about 8 trucks of onions are consumed daily in Rivers State. In entertainment, Nigerian singer Temilade Ogbeni, better known as Thames, has been nominated for the 2021 BET Awards. She was nominated alongside South African R&B singer Elaine, British acts Alo Parks and Bree Runaway, who are both rappers and singers. Grammy Award winner Burna Boy was also nominated for Best New International Act. The BET Awards 2021 will air live on Monday, June 28. In sports, a 10-year-old girl, Stephanie Onuzirike, who emerged overall best gymnast at the just concluded National Sports Festival Edo 2020, has been presented with a check of 2,250,000 naira by the Anambra State government. Stephanie won 1 gold, 2 silver medals and 1 bronze. The state governor, Willie Obiano, said the reward was a demonstration of his administration's commitment to supporting sports development in the state.
Let me seize this opportunity to thank you for representing Anambra and flying the flag. We are very proud of you, particularly for the little girl that packed so much gold and the sky is her limit. The challenge you have is that if you want gold, you must strive to win gold next. If you want silver, you must strive to win gold the next round. And of course, if you want gold, you must defend that trophy.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has faced pressure to visit the U.S.-Mexico border as she tries to tackle a record migration spike. In a press conference, she said the U.S. government will continue to fight against illegal migration.
Trek to the United States-Mexico border do not come do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back.
Meanwhile, members of Ms. Harris's Democratic Party criticized her after she warned against illegal immigration. On a visit to Mexico on Tuesday, she said Washington aimed to boost economic development in the region. On the news this afternoon, you heard that bus drivers are protesting the shooting of their colleague along NTO Zoba Road and threatening to continue their protest for 1 week. Femi Falana has said the federal government should have taken Twitter to court instead of a ban. On the foreign scene, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is under pressure to visit the U.S.-Mexico border. The news was edited by Noel Beviri. Contact our newsroom on 0818-900-0017. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Light showers expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon. Thank you for listening and enjoy your day.